All right. If you hit the button, we can go. Hello and welcome back to the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast. I'm your host, Nick Parker. With me, sitting in the wrong chair, it's Liesl Hayes.
Hi, Lee Summit.
Are you okay?
I'm doing good.
Okay,
I'm doing good.
Our guest stole your chair.
You know what? Today is all about letting go of control, Nick.
You
It
know
is
what?
about letting go of control, and you and I are learning that slowly but surely, because who's over here?
I know. I'm not in my chair because my son, we're recording on the last day of school for the school year. He decided to come and help me, so he's running the board today. But, look, Liesl, this show, if it's about anything, it's about growth.
It is. It's about growth.
Does anybody buy
And
that?
when I walk in and there's this incredible human sitting in my chair that has like the best energy, I don't even get upset that she stole my chair.
And
you
before
know?
we introduce her, we got to remind the people of something.
Yes, we do.
The Lee Summit Town Hall podcast, as always, is brought to you by the good folks at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit.
Budget Blinds. It's an incredible place to work. It's a family company. And also, I heard they're hiring right now.
If you're looking for a job, they got the place for you. They're looking for an installer.
They are looking for an installer, and you can actually find information on their Budget Blinds of Lee Summit and Cass County website to get more information on that.
That's right. We will do there. And look, you want to work for our friends? They're awesome. Go see them. And they are the home for Signature Series shades. So when you're ready to make your home awesome, when you're ready to redecorate this spring and summer, go out there, get your stuff that you need. You know what else you can do when you go in there?
What's that?
Tell them Liesl next second.
Oh, wait, one last thing. If you want to work there, they have a dog, and the dog is basically the chief happiness officer, is what I've decided.
Oh.
So, I mean, that's an extra bonus of working for Budget Blinds.
Bert is the official mascot of
the
downtown
mascot.
Lee Summit.
Yes, he is.
He is the most awesome of all dogs. And I'm not necessarily a dog guy.
Yeah, no, you're not.
I love Bert.
Yeah, he is such a good dog.
Like almost perfection.
Yes, definitely.
Just a good dog. Good dog. Okay, we hinted at it. We got an announcement to make here.
A big
The
announcement.
Town Hall podcast, link to Lee Summit. Other than my co-hosts on the podcast, it's really just kind of been a one-person operation, trying to figure out how to do the news a little bit differently in Lee Summit. I got a friend now. I got a partner coming on to play. I've never had a friend before, Liesl.
I know you haven't. This is really exciting.
This is exciting. I'm growing up.
You are really growing up. This is a big testament. It really is. And like, if you had to pick a friend, I mean, she seems really legit.
Really?
Are you sure that she wants to be your
She
friend?
picked me, I think.
Okay.
Look,
That's good.
I'm going to feel better about myself if I say that.
Okay, yes.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vanessa Hickman, welcome to Link to Lee Summit.
Thank you.
You've been a guest a few times.
Yes.
You have helped me with the Teen Podcast Project. I can relate for 2 or 3 years now. And we've just been playing around, and so Vanessa is gonna come help me kind of expand into the community a little bit, get some more community support and involvement into what we're doing here. And so we just wanted to take a little time, let everybody get to know you, and tell everybody in Lee Summit you're here.
I am here. I am with Links to Lee Summit. I am super duper excited. I just can't wait. I don't know what's gonna happen. Now, if it doesn't look like you want me to, Nick, don't get me. No, I'm just playing.
Listen, what we all know is Vanessa tells me what's going to happen, and I say yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, kind of.
That's kind of how it goes.
I have ceded all power and control to Vanessa. No, so Vanessa, Liesl, like I try to do, is super involved in things all around the community. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say she's worse than us or better than us, whichever way you want to look at it. She has said yes to so many people and so many things. You're on, 6 different boards around town.
Yes.
You volunteer for a dozen other places.
Wow.
Yes, I love it. I really do. I love it. It gives me opportunity to get to meet people. My children are grown. I'm an empty nester. It gives me something to do, first of all. But it keeps me involved, keeps me young.
I like that. Yeah. And actually, I look at you too when you say your kids are growing, you're an empty nester. I'm like, does that really happen?
Yes.
Is it good?
Yes.
Do they leave?
Get ready. You're going to be sad.
Oh, sorry, Charlie.
I know. Charlie's right here in the room, man.
But because with all of that, that's kind of where we got to talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so as Link to Lee Summit, like I said, as it kind of evolves and figuring out the best way to do things in Lee Summit, and what are the holes? Like what do we need to talk about in town that aren't being talked about? And so Vanessa and I have this kind of idea that we're going to shift focus a little bit. Not covering the local elections anymore. We've talked about that on the show a lot, that I just don't want to play in that game anymore. It's too much energy.
Been there, done that.
And people not paying attention, right? People don't want to talk about those things, or at least talk about them in honest ways. We're going to focus on shining some spotlight on the community's nonprofit organizations. All those people and groups out there that are raising their hand at calls to serve. Mm-hmm. And let's help shine a spotlight on them. Maybe they can find new ways to bring donations and funds into those organizations and meet new volunteers, new people. So that's kind of where we're going to focus. And Vanessa said, I'm in.
We want to make it easy for those who want to give, those who want to know about our nonprofits in Lee Summit. One place, and it's going to be Links to Lee Summit. So you can just come on there and you can look for any nonprofit that we have in Lee Summit. My thing when I went to Nick, I was like, first of all, I don't understand why all of our nonprofits are not together. We don't do the same thing. We might help the same people, what we do in different ways. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So there's no reason for us to be competitive in nonprofit world in Lee Summit. Let's play together. Let's build a community of nonprofit resources where we can help people efficiently. I can refer someone out. It makes it easy for a nonprofit, believe it or not, because they kind of do it in KC and it's really good. So we can do it here. Like, we're better. What? We are better. So we can do that here, So we want to make it easy for our community to kind of find out what is happening in the nonprofit world, whether it's donating, whether it's fundraisers that are coming up, or if you want to volunteer, it's right there.
And to find, one of the things we've always tried to do with this podcast, with LinkedIn, was just show how easy it is to get involved. And I think this is a great next step. Like, okay, here are all those places. Find the passion that fits.
Pick one
with you. Pick one, pick 5.
Yeah.
Or if you're Vanessa, pick 6. Join all of them.
6 to 7
every weekend. Give you something to do.
Yeah, absolutely every weekend, and maybe every day. But that's okay. You know what? You're living the dream.
So we're gonna kind of start filling in on the website with lots of information about these. We've started talking to some of the nonprofit organizations and kind of building a better pipeline and system of communication to get what they're doing and to get their information out there. And there's going to be lots of opportunities, I think, for people who maybe are already involved with them, who already support. Everybody has kind of a favorite, right, that they like to support, and in ways for them to help out with that too. So we're just going to try to make some connections and shine light on people doing good, which is really what I love doing most with this.
Absolutely.
Is like who's doing awesome things in the community, and let's tell everybody about it.
Yep. So Vanessa, you mentioned that there is someone doing this in KC. I'm assuming you're thinking of Nonprofit Connect, right? So tell us a little. Yes.
Well, we're not going to be. We're not going to be them.
I know. I wanted to know what the model was and what you were thinking about.
I was thinking of 211.
Okay.
So you can call 211, and yes, you can get services to find out about what's going on in Lee Summit. But if you call 211 in Kansas City, you can find out what's available, the spaces they have available, what fundraisers is going on. You can find out all of that in the nonprofit world. And also, I go to a meeting every month, the CRC, Community Resource Connect. And what they do every month is we all meet, and I'm the outsider because I'm in Lee Summit. But I'm going to force myself upon them. They all meet every month, and they talk about the resources that's available. So if they say, "Hey, I have a client that needs their bills paid," another organization that's there and said, "Hey, we have money, we can do that. We can pay for their electricity bill, or hey, we have this much food left over. Does anybody have any families? Or we have this space available. We got room for 2 families to stay in that are homeless. That's what I wanted to bring to Lee Summit. I want us to get together. I want the nonprofit world in Lee Summit to get together and say, hey, I have, 2 jars of peanut butter. Anybody got any more? Can we get our community to give us some more? Or, we can pay this many families utility bills. That's what I was looking for. Or if I'm Hillcrest, hey, we have an opening. Does anybody have any families that can go in? So that's what I want Lee Summit's nonprofit family to look like. Helping each other, referring people out. Yes, we do have 2 or 3 pantries, but they don't look the same. They're not the same. They don't serve the people. The requirements are not the same. And even if it is, who cares? That's more families we can serve. So that's what I'm looking at for Lee Summit. And I think being partnered with Nick, and Nick wanting to provide that service to be that hub for Lee Summit's nonprofit is phenomenal.
I think it's something, in different circles around town for several years now, that conversation has happened. Like, how did we make this hub happen? How do we do it? And just when we were talking, I was like, well, we kind of already have an infrastructure built. We can do that, and we can start by just putting the information out there. Like, here's a place to go to see what's there, and then we can build toward that time when, okay, you're actually looking for a service or you're looking for a place to give, that can happen there.
So what are some of the organizations that the 2 of you been talking to get involved in this process?
So every other Friday, we're trying to meet with nonprofits to let them know, it's a little slow. We're trickling in. And I understand because, like, hey, what do you want? Do you want money from us? And we're not charging our nonprofits. We want to do all this work for them for nothing. So we've already spoken with Horsepower,
Meals on Wheels. We've had some conversations with Lee Summit Social Services, with Prodeo Youth Center. Excuse me, with Rediscover a little bit. So, I mean, and some of them too, like we've been Hillcrest, we've been involved with them, so we've already had these, but we're trying to formalize those conversations right now.
Have them come in.
So if know nonprofits that might be interested, what's a good way to get them involved with the 2 of you to have these types of conversations?
So we're having another meeting per se, May 31st. We're meeting with as many nonprofits that want to meet that day and come in. So every other Friday, we're kind of going to have that space available to talk to nonprofits until we kind of hit all of them.
I mean, really, it's just an ongoing conversation. If people want to reach out to us, you can, Nick at link2leesummit.com. You can do that. You can hit us up on our Facebook, Link to Lee Summit on Facebook, Instagram, those kind of things. But we just want to, we're just getting out there and reconnecting. I mean, obviously, we already know a lot of these people. We work with them for different things, and it's more of just, reminding, send us that stuff. How can we get that stuff? And what do you need?
Yeah.
We've had some people say, really, you know what we want? We want an ability to sit down with other business people in the community and just tell our story. And so that's where we're starting. It's just collecting stories.
And we want to make it easy for our businesses in Lee Summit to give to our nonprofit, to support, to partner with our nonprofits. We have a lot of businesses in Lee Summit that do, but we want to encourage them more to give into those fundraisers that are coming up, being donors, being monthly donors to some of these nonprofits. But we want to encourage them to do that, to come on board with us. And we got a piece on Link to Lee Summit for them too. So we're going to offer them something too. But we want to make that connection between our businesses and our nonprofits.
And, some of that could be like, Liesl, your business, Aligned Talent.
Mm-hmm.
You could help an organization tell their story. Like you could say, hey, look, I love Prodeo. I love what they're doing. And you can help us do, maybe a video series where we help tell the story of what Prodeo's got going and the building they're developing as a new home for their youth center, things like that. And that's really the connection we're trying to make is okay, you're a business and you want to be involved and you want to support this thing in the community, and we're going to connect that.
I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really is. It's it just encourages on both ends. It encourages, again, nonprofit to work as one. Because I just think I'm going to use this word silly, that there's nonprofits and then everybody's separate. So who does it affect? It affects the person who needs service. If you're a nonprofit and if your client needs clothing and you only do food, well, it would make sense for you to say, hey, I know this organization that is going to give you clothing. Let me give them a call. Sometimes that transition, if I'm a client, I used to work direct services with client. The hardest thing is for them to navigate that those resources. So it's hard for them to navigate. I'm going to call this organization. Who do I talk to? What do I ask for? What's the proper thing that I say to make it smooth? And just imagine, one, you're homeless. You're used to hearing no. And then now you want me to call. I don't know what to say, and I'm afraid, I'm scared that I'm gonna hear no again. So either they give up and they don't get covered or taken care of fully, or they say the wrong thing and get the wrong service. So we want to be able to help. Well, yeah, we want to be able to help our clients, those clients, get through this nonprofit service efficiently. And we want our nonprofits to get together and say, hey, you know what? Look on Linktree Summit and you can find this person or this person and call them and see what they have. Or this organization, yes, Coldwater has food and clothing, but right now you're looking for a place to live. So, Monty, I call Monty. Monty calls Hillcrest and say, hey, because we're going to be honest. Sometimes if we call, we might have a little more pull than if a client calls. Like, we're just going to keep it real. And so I would have my contacts when I worked in direct services, and I'll be like, hey, hook up my client, So it's real. So I think it's just better all around, not for our nonprofits, for the client, and for businesses. Like, when you go to a business that you knew supported a nonprofit in our community, I would.
Yeah. And I think that's part of that goes on the shop local, right? Because they're the ones in our neighborhoods that are helping out. I think I'm going to tack onto that a little bit. I can't remember who this was, but one of the conversations we had where she was telling us that we're also into our laser focused silo of helping the people that we serve for our mission statement, that sometimes you get so into that you don't think about the other service that's being provided and how to do that. And so I think they were like, how do we know to work together? What else? What are the adjacent services that we should be telling our clients about, because we're so focused, as they are, and they're doing great work, but they're so focused on that they don't always think about what's the next service that they might need.
And we have great services here. Even looking up lists and looking up nonprofits, we really have a lot in Lee Summit. I was unaware of a lot of the organizations and what they do, but I'm for it and I'm excited, and I can't wait for them all to be in one place and meet the needs of our community.
So when are you going to put this on the Linktree Summit website? What's that going to look like?
So in the next couple months, there's going to be a new section on the website. We haven't thought of the clever name yet. Which I know you're supposed to think of those things earlier.
That's okay.
Maybe we can have a contest.
Hey. Look, if there's
that's always a good idea.
If there's anything I learned when I was in marketing, is I'm not that good at marketing. So there'll be a new section that's going to have all that stuff listed out. You can find contact information. You can find stories and information about each of them as we start gathering. He probably doesn't know it yet, but the kid that's sitting over there in my chair, he's going to help enter a lot of this information.
Happy summer, Charlie!
That's coming in the next couple months, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the energy Vanessa brings. I mean, first off, and the she knows so many people around town. And here's the other thing too: nobody can say no to Vanessa. So when she asks,
I could see that. I really, really could see that.
When she asks for help gathering information, or she asks for some extra support, I think people are going to say yes, because and it's so genuine. I mean, that's what I'm really excited about with you, Vanessa. It's so genuine.
Thank you.
You love the Lee Summit community,
I
you
do.
want to serve, and you want to help those others that are serving
Mm-hmm.
do it even better. And that's awesome.
I want to help everybody. I know I can't because I'm not Jesus, but
Hey, that's okay. You're modeling your life.
I'm modeling.
You're
his life.
modeling your life.
Yes. One thing I do want to say about Nick is I love the fact that when we do talk to our nonprofits, he's like, what do you want? I'm going like, hey, we should give them this, and this. And he's like, let them tell us what they're looking for, which when you think about it, it gives you, it makes you want to be a part of Link to Lee Summit. Because it's like, I'm giving you what I want for my organization. It might not be the same thing as someone else's nonprofit needs, but I'm giving you what I need and what I want our community to see. So I do like that.
I appreciate
That's a
that.
great idea.
I think that, and it's hard to do because we do. I'm going to say it again. We get stuck in our silos and we think about our perspectives. But I can go in and say, I think you ought to tell this message and advertise this way or whatever. But what I don't really know. I don't know what they do. I'm not in the weeds in their organizations. And yeah.
And it might not be heartfelt if we do it that way too.
No.
You know,
But
we
that's-
want it to be as genuine as possible.
And that's service, right? To be of service, you have to ask what somebody needs.
Right. That is
And I
correct.
think
So,
that's.
what are some of the themes that you all are hearing from the nonprofits?
I think the biggest one. I'm sorry, I jumped in.
No,
Vanessa.
go ahead.
I think the biggest one I'm hearing is they want to amplify their voice. They want to get in front of people and tell the story of their organization and what they're doing. There are some that have been around for a little while that nobody knows about. I mean, like I had never heard until a week ago the Horsepower Group that does horse therapy for kids who've suffered trauma.
Oh,
Very specific.
I've never heard of that
Right.
organization.
And they've
That's
been around
really cool.
not that long, but it's a really cool organization, and they want to, how do they get out and tell their story and raise awareness about it? And then there are some that have been around for 30, 40 years, but the problem is they've been talking to the same audience for 30 or
Right.
40 years.
Correct.
And even just as simple as on the donor level, right? So we're in a little
Sure,
bit of
yes.
transition time, I think, in our community in Lee Summit, where the people that have made the big donations, that have done all of the messaging and and volunteering, are getting older, and there's kind of a new guard coming in that's taking those roles. But how do you find them? How do these organizations find that? How do they find the business owners, business managers around town that want to be involved with them to replace the ones that are aging out a little bit?
And with Horsepower, you can volunteer. Because I want to volunteer like one time. I was told I had the wrong boots because I had my Beyonce boots from the Beyonce concert.
Oh, so they weren't the right boots that day.
Not
Next
the
time you'll
next
be
time.
prepared.
And they
though.
give you boots though.
Oh, they do.
Yes, they
Oh,
give for those
nice.
like me who's coming for the photo op. They give you boots. So I mean, it's just creative things like that I would have never known about. I mean, they came to my Rotary and I was like, wow. Who knew? In Lee Summit here. So
And there was lots of
and
talk
think
about her
about-
pooper scooping
Think
too.
about
Yeah, I'm
the
not
three.
doing that. I'm not doing that.
But I do think about the three of us. And if we haven't heard of an organization, and that's not me patting all of us on the back, it's literally just we're all just very invested in our community. So if we haven't heard of them collectively, I mean, think about the layers of people who haven't heard about them. And they're obviously providing a really cool service. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, and let's think about it for a second too. Like just the sheer numbers. We're a town of the last census is 107,000, right? Maybe 10% of the population are involved at those levels where they are. I mean, like lots of people give, lots of people serve, whether through its church or through other organizations. I'm not saying people don't, but every community has about 10-ish% that are really involved in things that are helping make decisions and do this. So how do you get past that? How can they reach 20,000 people? How can they reach 40,000 people? And that's what we're trying to look at is how do we help make those connections with people that may not even know
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also a lot of the times the barrier is people, they don't have time.
Right.
Like they don't have the resources. Maybe they don't have the time. Like they're going to work and working crazy number of hours. But the reality is there are ways to plug in in different ways. It doesn't always have to be money. It doesn't always have to be time. It can be volunteering if you have extra time. It can be engaging in one particular meeting where we're getting feedback from a specific group of people. So I think I love that idea because I think sometimes the barrier to community engagement is that we just don't feel like we have the time to do it.
And it's so easy to actually be involved. And it can be as simple as you're at church, you're out to lunch or dinner with friends, and an anecdote is shared of somebody who needs something. Hey, I heard, or I read on Link to Lee Summit, or I was at a meeting. Here's an organization called Horsepower. They deal with kids who have suffered trauma. And all of a sudden, you've shared that message.
There it is.
And also, I think a lot of times, too, people don't, because we're all so busy, we're so invested in our work, our homes, our kids, and all their many, many, things that they're involved in, that I think you don't always give ourselves time to find that thing that we are passionate about, to go, I stumbled into being involved with the downtown stuff, right? I didn't know that was a passion until I was voluntold.
Yeah, absolutely. And
to be involved.
I think sometimes we equate involvement as time.
Right.
And the reality is we have to think past that, right? It's not just time. It's time, talent, it's treasures. Like as we think about our community, like there are all ways that we can give that aren't just time related. And I think we get stuck in that box sometimes, but there are ways for all of us to engage and contribute.
And it encourages us to give collectively together. So like I was looking at just say like Perdeo on Mondays, they just need a meal. You don't have to serve it. So if you get you and your friends, get together, cook a meal, or get together and give money together and buy a meal and deliver it, you're done. But you've helped students. Or if you buy gift cards, or like Homestead, they adopt older people. So what I do is I get the ticket and I'm like, okay, friends, who's getting what off this list? And you've done your good deed for the year. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, I love that. I love that though. Yeah.
Yeah, get together. You don't have to do it by yourself. You can get people to come along with you to do. Can you imagine if 30% of our community gave and or volunteered? So we have the same 10% people. It's going to give them a break. And allow a new group of people to come in and feed that hunger of giving. Like, do it. Go out there and do service for someone.
And I think the flip side of that too is there's a huge part of the population in every community, ours too, that you're so busy, you're so into your life that maybe you don't realize, oh, that service is available. I could actually use that.
Yeah,
that would help
absolutely.
me.
That's good.
And we talked in a thing last night, Vanessa. We talked about. I think you actually brought it up that there are a lot of people in our community that we don't know about. That because of the cost of living here, they may be in a nice house, but that's where all their money goes every month. And there are people in nice houses who are struggling to eat, that are struggling to put gas in their car or whatever. And I think they may not realize that there's a service that they need, because all they're focused on is every month, where am I putting my paycheck?
Or importantly, Nick, they might not qualify, So there has to be an organization out there or a church out there who's giving food away, no questions asked. You can go in, get a bag of food, and leave instead of giving you my financial information. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't meet that low income criteria, then you don't get food and then you give up. But if you can go on Link to Lee Summit and say, hey, I saw this church give out food, you can go in and park and get your food and leave. They don't have to have my name. That's amazing. That is amazing. There's a church around the corner from my house that does it, and the line is long, so it's needed.
I think just there's so many things that we don't know about, so that if you need it, you know about it. If you have an opportunity to be a part of it, you can know about it. And it's just, I think everything starts with knowledge.
Right.
And so that's where, just from the news side of things, which is my background, is, okay, we can put information out there, but then the part Vanessa brings to this is that connection to start getting people involved.
Speaking of getting people involved, who are you supposed to reach out to if we want to hear or get connected to this in any way, form, or fashion?
Vanessa, how can they find you?
Well, they can email me at Vanessa, M as in Mary, Hickman at MSN.com. Please don't laugh at my MSN.com email
We're not
address.
laughing.
It's
we
not
are
AOL,
not
so you're
laughing.
okay.
No, if it was AOL, we might give you a little bit
The
of...
young kids are like, Miss Vanessa, that is old. So I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But they can reach me there. They can give me a call on my cell phone. Can I get my cell phone now?
If that's up to you.
Just no weirdos call me. No. My number
Okay, I'll stop calling.
No, you can call me at 816-588-5218. I'll be happy to talk to you, get you connected, get you set up so you can come on in and talk to me and Nick so we can get your information on the website. I'm super excited.
Yeah, and you can always email me, Nick, at link2leesummit. That's the number 2, link2leesummit.com. Or hit us up on our social medias. It's LS Town Hall on the artist formerly known as Twitter, which, like, I'm gonna admit, guys, I pretty much don't go there anymore on the X.
Yeah.
I
never went on
I don't
the
even
X.
know how.
I mean, and I'm gonna admit some of that too is just pure laziness. But Link to Lee Summit on Facebook, on Instagram, where they reach out to us, or go straight to Vanessa, because look, she's getting things done.
Call me, email me. We can get you hooked up.
Vanessa, welcome.
Thank you. I am so excited. Thank you for asking me. I appreciate it. I'm honored, actually. I'm very honored to be in this space. So, yeah.
It's exciting to have you.
Thank you. And maybe I'll get to see Charlie more.
That sounds like a win all around.
Yeah, he's a decent kid.
He's okay.
I'm gonna keep him.
We'll keep him.
I'm gonna keep him for one more year.
You can stay.
Then you're on your own, man.
Then Nick will be crying.
I know, right?
Well, this episode is about.
He doesn't have his mic on, but I'm gonna ask this question, Charlie. Who do you think is gonna cry more, me or your mom?
Oh, definitely Mom.
I don't know that he's right. That's gonna wrap us up for this week. We'll talk to everybody next time.